everybody, Tracy Jo Callan with Callan's Crafting Studio, and today I'm going to walk everybody through how to make these little paper luminaries. And these are from a cartridge that is in Cricut Design Space. It's in the Access subscription. I'll put the name of the cartridge later as we move through the video because I don't really know the name of it right off the top of my head. But I thought that these would be a good tutorial because I have a lot of people ask me about these when they come to my home. I have a set of 3 of them and they sit on the mantle in my family room, and I have little flameless candles that I put in them. These are on timers, and I think I got these from either HSN or QVC, but you can pretty much get them anywhere nowadays. And they are absolutely adorable, and all of my friends and family that have seen them really thought that they were metal or wrought iron, and they're simply just black cardstock and vellum. So I will show you how to size them in Design Space, and then I'll cut them and we'll put them together. So this should be fun. Let's get started. Okay, here we go. I already have 3 sized for the ones that I made, so I'm just going to use that same file and work within it, and I'll show you how I came up with the different sizes. So first you want to go into Insert Images, and the name of this cartridge that is in the Cricut Access subscription is called 3D Lanterns. So you want to click on Cartridges. You could type in 3D at the top, but they're pretty close to the top of the list, so I don't really feel a need to do that. So I'm just going to scroll down. You don't want the Chinese lanterns, you want the ones that just right here, 3D lanterns, and there's 6 different ones. We're going to use this one because those are the ones that I have. So when you go into View 6 Images, I'm going to select this one and I'm going to insert it. Okay, it brings it in pretty small. So for me, I measured each of the candles that I was going to use, and I had a 4-inch, a 6-inch, and a 9-inch, and I chose I wanted about a 1/2 inch clearance above them. So to size it, you do not want to unlock your proportions on it because you want them to stay the same. So you would just simply grab the arrow, put it up in the corner, grab the arrow and drag it down to 4.5 inches. Okay, so this one is going to be the same as this one. Now, if you ungroup these, you can see it has all 4 panels. So the black will be the 4 panels of cardstock, and the yellow is the 4 panels of vellum, because you're going to have to glue all 4 sides together. And there's a little score here. It's very hard to see, but there is a score line there, and these are the panels that you're going to glue together. So I know we don't need this one here. So that's the first one. And then the second one, again, you do not want to change the width, you only want to change the height. So my next candle is 6 inches, so this one I made 6.5 inches. My last candle is 8 inches, so I made this roughly 9.5 inches. So that's all you really have to do. Everything is included in the file, which is nice, and you can just go ahead and send it to the mat. Once you send it to the mat, you're going to see how many different pieces of paper that you need. Now, for this one, if I were going to cut all 4 of these, which I'm not, I'm only going to cut 1 so I can show you how to put it together and I don't need them again. So you would need 4 pieces of black cardstock and you would need 3 pieces of vellum, and that's to get a set of 3. So I'm going to cancel that cut for now because I'm only going to cut 1. I'm going to go ahead and cut the short one, so I'm going to hide all of the other ones just by clicking over here. Turn off all the little eyes. I can't wait till the new Design Space comes out because I'm told that I'll be able to turn off the whole group at the top, which would be fabulous, because I use these little eyeballs a lot to turn stuff on and off, and it's sort of time consuming to have to go in and do it to every single one. Oops, this isn't the one that I even meant to turn off. I want to turn off the big one. La la la. Okay, so the one down at the bottom here. So we're going to turn this one off. So all I have is that. On the page, there we go. So we're just going to cut this one. So I'm going to go ahead and send it to the mat and cut it, and we'll be back so I can show you how to put it together. One thing I want to mention, when you send your file to the mat and you're ready to cut and you hit go, the black is fine on cardstock, so you want to make sure you choose the dial position for cardstock. I'm not sure what weight you're using. A heavier weight is probably better for these since they are going to be standing up. But when you're cutting the vellum, you want to make sure you change your dial position to vellum. So you want to put it on custom settings on the actual machine and then choose vellum. The Cricut vellum is what I am using, so you want to make sure that you click on that before you actually cut it. So I just thought that was worth mentioning. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, so here's what my mat looked like after I pulled everything off. And just for those people that are very, very new to Cricut, you can take this scraper. There's two different sizes of these. I like the larger one, but you can also use the smaller one. And these little scrapers are really terrific for scraping all of your stuff off your mat. You know, it kind of makes a mess sometimes, and then I just sort of scrape it off and then I just dump it all into the garbage can. So that's kind of how that works. So I'm just going to set this aside for now, dump it in my garbage can, and just brush the few little pieces away that I have. My cats love finding little pieces of paper all over the floor because I'm not exactly the neatest person when I'm crafting, but I always clean it up afterwards. So I just wanted to show everybody, this is the vellum that I used in the ones that are on my mantle. This is the bright sampler, and this yellow works really well for these. When you put a candle behind this, it just shines so brightly and they look really, really pretty and natural. But this one, I didn't have a solid piece of the yellow left, so I used white, and I think the white will be fine too. I did have a little trouble cutting it because the mat I was using wasn't super sticky, so I had to cut a couple times to get nice clean cuts. Now also, you might want to use your intricate cut setting and your custom settings for these because they are pretty intricate, tiny little cuts, as you can see, and sometimes you have to go back over them to make sure that everything came out of it. And I know I saved a couple here, and this little piercing tool is great for this. I just kind of dig in and pop these little extra things out that didn't come out. Sometimes you can pull them off the back. Be careful you don't want to tear your paper. But it is a tiny little intricate cut. Also, you want to make sure you use really good quality cardstock. This was Cricut cardstock. It is textured a little bit, and it did tear in a couple places, but nothing major that I still can't use it. Because I don't think anybody's going to notice it that closely. So these are just a couple little areas that didn't come out when I pulled it up off my mat. So I'm just going in and popping those out of there. So this one looks pretty good. One little piece, and the last one here. Get some of these little black pieces out of my way. Let's see. So this here isn't exactly a perfectly clean cut, and I might fix that with my X-Acto knife. These little corners really didn't want to come out. I'm just popping those out of there. There's one little tiny piece here. There we go, that one. This one here. This one here, I think I'm going to use my little X-Acto knife just to kind of pop that out. Sometimes if the paper isn't perfectly tacked to the mat, it will tear a little bit, but usually if you just use one of these little X-Acto knives, you can easily kind of fix it. So I'm just using that. There we go. And that cut that little piece out of there. Oh, one more corner we still have to get. Clean up these little edges here. Okay, and now we're ready to go. So I'm going to put all of this aside, the vellum aside, and I'm going to show you how to fold these. So there's a little tiny score line that is on the inside of here. Okay, can you guys see that score line there? See it? It's really tiny. So that is what I'm going to need to fold. So I'm going to gently, let me get my bone folder. Sometimes it's tough to get it started because you're working with such a tiny little area there. But let me get it started. If you have nails, it helps because I run my nail down there like that. Okay, and I'm going to get a crisp edge. There we go. So that's one of them. All right. And we're going to go ahead and do that with all 4 pieces. Because these are the little tabs that you're going to have to glue together. And I'm going to use just some white craft glue with a really tiny tip on it. I've done it with the tape runner. Sometimes they don't stick together very well with that. I've used the Zig pens and that glue doesn't seem to hold either, so I think that this more heavy duty glue might work a little bit better. So let's see. 2 more. We'll just get these folded quickly. Okay. Again, I'm using my bone folder to try to get a nice clean edge on that. Aha, and I just spotted another little piece I have to get out of there. There we go. Okay. Couple little edges there. And I use the X-Acto knife just to pop that out. There we go. Okay, that's 3. 1 more. It's a really tiny little ledge you're working with there, so it can be difficult. Plus this paper has a little bit of texture to it, so sometimes when you use that texture paper it's hard to get a good clean score line, but they're there. Okay, there we go. So the first thing we're going to do is we need to put the vellum inside each of the panels. Now this, you want to be careful with the glue that you use too, because you don't want to get any glue on anything that's going to show through. So for this I am going to use my very fine tip Zig 2A pen. So this is the one with oops, sorry, this tip. Okay, so it's a pretty tiny tip, and I'm gonna put the glue all over the lining of the inside of the black panel. You gotta work kind of fast because it'll dry pretty quickly. Might want to put a piece of paper behind it. I think I'm going to do that so you guys can see a little bit better. Not to mention so I don't get glue all over my workspace. That way I can just dab, 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 dab. And don't care. Okay, so that's pretty good. So I'm going to take my first panel and I'm going to set that in here. You want to try to get it as even as possible and press it down really good. Sometimes the vellum doesn't like to take the glue. You can even use your little scraping tool to really get that to stick down in there. Sorry guys, I'm out of frame a little bit there. Okay, so there's one panel. Okay, now we're going to do that with the other ones. And make sure you really get it in the corners. I think that's where it's most important. Okay, and we're going to take it again, set it down on there. Okay. Okay, that's two. My paper's getting a little sticky. Alright, that's three. And the last one. This would be fun to even give as a gift to somebody, you know, just find a little flameless candle. I think I see them at the dollar store all the time. Could be very expensive, but yet very pretty gift to give to somebody, especially if you're on a limited budget. And the time that you spend to make it is what people really need to appreciate. Of course they don't, because nobody knows but us crafters how much time you actually spend on this stuff, right? Okay, so there's the fourth piece there. So I want to again take my bone folder and really make sure I get these corners down good and flat so there's a good crisp edge on them, because now we're going to go ahead and glue them together. So what we're going to do is you're going to glue every flap to the other flat side. So I'm going to run a bead of glue down here. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, I'm going to take this side and I'm going to hold it down there flat. This tool comes in handy for a lot of different things. So there's a little glue that came out the edge. Okay, and there we go. We have half of it. So you want to maybe flip it over and fold it again just to make sure we're getting a nice good connection with the glue in the corner. And there we go, it's starting to come together. So there's half. So now we're going to do this side over here. So again, I'm going to run a bead of glue. You don't need too much because you don't want it to overflow. That's why these little tiny tips work really nicely for projects like this. I think I got this bottle on Amazon.com. And I'm gonna go ahead and glue that together as straight as possible. Make sure I get a good connection again. Fold it over. I'm going to bend it down. Okay. Nice. All right, there we go. We've got the 3 sides. Okay. Now the last one can get a little tricky. No, actually I'm going to add a little bit more glue for my vellum in here, so I'll just use this glue this time. A little piece of vellum popped up. Vellum can be tricky. It doesn't really like to adhere super easy. And you want to make sure it doesn't bleed through the other side, so you have to be careful on where you put it. So, okay. There we go. All right, so now we're going to do the last side. Look down for a second. Give the glue a chance to take. Okay, flip it over. Alright, so there we have all 4 sides. Now this last one, you're going to kind of have to hold it up. So you want to make sure you put your glue on this one on the outside there. Okay. Or inside. I guess it really doesn't matter because once it's attached you really can't see, but if you wanted to, you wanted it more slim, I'm going to put it on the inside actually, just like we did the other ones. Okay, there we go. We're going to pull it up together and we're going to have to line it up as best you can. And run your finger inside. Okay. And try to pinch it. Again, give the glue a minute to set. Oh. See my lovely blister? That was from the hot glue gun from my last tutorial when I nicked the end of it. Yeah, so it's been almost a week. Gosh, I hate working with hot glue. You could use hot glue on these too, but okay. So there we go. We have our little square. And now you can take your candle, put that inside. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? If I turn my light off, you can probably really see how it glows. Look at that. Isn't that adorable? And they're super, super easy. You don't even need a bottom for them. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. And if you did, please like it and subscribe to my page. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye now.